Chris Angel donates quite a lot of food to a good charity. Oh, you gotta be kidding me. Dang it. Never a dull minute making videos in my front yard with sprinklers. Alright, so Chris Angel donates a bunch of food to a local charity. Major Locals Hotel lays off almost all of its employees. It's quite unfortunate. There's free C19 tests here in Las Vegas. The Hard Rock might be coming back to Las Vegas in some way, shape, or form, possibly on the Strip this time. And then we got to talk about thanking some people who are making our lives better and functional right now. My name's Steven. I'm not leaving Las Vegas. I'm a Vegas blogger. What can I say? I didn't know the sprinklers were going to go off that late. I set the schedule, and we're going to talk about the news today. If you guys want to be in the credits of the video, head on over to Patreon. Tell the Patreon people I love you and I appreciate you and thank you, and I'll make sure I post some more extra good content for you guys there. It's been difficult. It's been tough. Work's trying to get me to come back. I'm finding a balancing act so I can do 2 videos a day plus extra Patreon stuff plus the day job that we still have to go to. Head on over to the Teespring store if you guys want to do the merchandise thing. I'm giving a patrons all a discount code that they guys can use for Infinity and Beyond. If they're over there, it'll be 25% off. That might be good for you guys. And you guys can check out the Las Vegas, Not Leaving Las Vegas Facebook group. You guys can also check out the 7:45 p.m. Las Vegas time live streams. Well, anyways, there's a bunch of news today. I read the news today, as John Lennon says. Oh boy, Chris Angel donated $250,000 worth of food to the Cure for Cancer Society, I believe it's called. Let me get the right name of that business because it was on the tip of my tongue and the tip of my phone. So he actually gave it to it's called the Johnny Christopher Children's Charitable Foundation. It's the Cure for Kids Foundation. Now, Chris Angel and his wife, their son's going through cancer, I believe, still. And so it's very nice of him to do this. It was $250,000 worth of food. That's a really positive news thing here. And that's nice to see because, you know, right now, a lot of charities are getting a bit of the, you know, they're getting the cold shoulder. They're not getting the donations they might have gotten in the past because people are really opening up and giving to local governments and food banks to help people that are affected by C19, which is great. I love to see that. I did say some things about Chris Angel in a live stream. I'm not changing my mind. I think that the guy is driven by ego, but, you know, people driven by ego can do great things too, and that's a great thing that he did. So I give him credit right there. His show's not for everybody. If you like Chris Angel, I like different types of magicians, as I said in my live stream, but we're going to leave it at that. Good for Chris Angel for doing something very positive in this world. We also have major news with the Rampart Casino evidently using a phone call and a letter just to almost lay every single employee in the property off, which blows my mind and boggles my mind. The letter reads that basically they had no other recourse between, you know, they blamed every single person except for themselves. It's important to note, now the Rampart is one of my favorite casinos. My wife and I go to the JW Marriott on Rampart. It's called that because it's on Rampart Boulevard out in Summerlin. We go there all the time for their seafood buffet. They do it on Fridays and Saturday nights. Somebody watching this video, I hope they're still watching because they're on my Patreon. They actually work at the JW Marriott at Rampart. I hope they're okay. But at the same time, they basically blamed C19, they blamed the president, they blamed Sisolak 3 times and said that everything was happening in such a short amount of time that they couldn't do anything. If you had some vacation pay, they mailed that off in a check. They did this over the phone with a pre-recorded message for a ton of employees, which isn't a very nice way to treat your employees. But what gets me on this one is that they are going to be opening up very soon, hopefully. But what also gets me on this one is, I know it's not their fault, they didn't time it this way, but just in the last year or two, they did a massive renovation on the property towards the convention and guest area, and they revamped the entire back end of the property. They have a beautiful wedding chapel area up there. They have tons of areas where you can go and have some walk around fountains with koi fish and koi ponds and stuff like that. Now they just basically laid everybody off with no hope. It's a permanent furlough, which is just being terminated from your job. So hopefully those people can land back on their feet and they can find some good out of the situation. But it's tough to make good happen out of that situation, isn't it? Now, the next thing we have is there is free C19 testing going on at the Orleans. Now, this is confusing for a lot of people, but I'm going to regale you with a story right now. I was talking to somebody that works at one of the local shops. She said one of her family members worked for a construction site. He had very bad seasonal allergies. It was incredibly windy, as it gets to be in Vegas sometimes, and he was coughing and sneezing. They made him go home and get a C19 test out of his own pocket, mind you, in order to be able to come back to work. Those kinds of things hinder people and hurt them. Those tests can cost $150, $100, $200, depending on where you live. Well, he got the test, came back, it was allergies, he goes back to work. Now they're giving free tests over at the Orleans. But I have to caution people on this one. If you get a free test and you don't actually have the symptoms for having anything, you're wasting a free test, okay? If you feel like you're sicker than you've ever been and you're afraid to get a test, go get a test. But I would say don't waste a test, because there could be a limited amount of those for free. They're testing about 900 people a day at that site, which is pretty heroic of them, and it's a drive-through type of test. So the Orleans Casino, it's a locals place. It's over on West Tropicana by Arville, between Arville and Decatur. So if you're feeling like you need something, you can go there and get a test. They're reaching out to the Hispanic community. They say the Hispanic community is actually hit harder than any other community in Las Vegas right now for this, and they're hoping that people that are usually unable to get the tests will get tested, so we can have some better data to share. And that's a positive thing to have happening. It's a negative that it's hitting one community harder than others. In other news, we're going to get to the Hard Rock possibly coming back to the Strip, but I wanted to take a time in this video before I get to that news item to just thank a lot of people in Las Vegas. And it's going to be pretty much everybody who's suffered through all this and was an essential employee somewhere and had to work in a retail store. And some people might say, well, yeah, you shouldn't thank them. They got to keep their job and I had to lose my job. And I understand. I basically lost my job doing the advertising thing because nobody's willing to advertise in a down economy when there's so much uncertainty. I know how that feels. But at the same time, these folks here, they had no choice but to go to their jobs if they worked in the retail industry that was a store that sold food, automotive parts, home improvement parts, these kinds of things. And they had to basically roll the dice with everybody that would come up to them, because everybody that would come up to them would have done a million things before they ended up in that store, and they had no idea who that they were dealing with. So those are the first group of people we want to thank. The second group of people we should be thanking are the law enforcement people. You know, yesterday in my live stream, I posted up a photo of the Nevada Highway Patrol and Metro officers just having a fun time in a parking lot, not social distancing, not really paying attention to the rules. I pointed out that those folks had marching orders, and I understood they did, to go out and escort some of us to our places of work to make sure we weren't breaking the rules, and that it was shocking to see this. It was shocking in a positive way and shocking in a negative way. But law enforcement also has a hard job, no matter what time of the year it is or what conditions Las Vegans are in, because they still have to go up to the unknown every time they do a traffic stop at 1 in the morning or even at 1 in the afternoon. And they still are the first people that you would ever call if somebody broke into your house, no matter what your experience is with the police. If it's positive, if it's negative, everybody's experience with the police is very, very personal, okay? It's like their relationship with their phone. Everybody's phone is different. Everybody's police experience is different. They're still going to be the first people that you guys call. We also want to thank all the doctors who have been working, all the nurses on the front line. I know there's some nurses that watch me and do the live stream participation with me. Retired nurses, you guys might have nurses in your family. Hug your first responders and your nurses and the people who are working in the retail with us, because they kept our society going. Without those retail stores, as barren as they were for a period, life would have been a lot different and our supply chain would have been hurt. Without those police officers, fires, paramedics, nurses, and doctors responding to people, things would have been a lot different. Without people willing to change your oil, you wouldn't have had a car to drive. There's endless amounts of people that you can thank, but nobody's thanking the grocery store employees, and people are probably not thanking the police enough. So that's what I wanted to say about that. I did a video on my experiences with Metro Police. I had some people decry me as being overly negative towards the police. Nothing of the sort. I come from Canada. The relationship of Canadian kids with cops is fantastic in almost all cases. They teach you to respect in your friendly Mountie, because they don't have state troopers, and those are the provincial police. Other than being in Ontario, that's who you deal with in most cases if you're not in a big city, and that's what that is. So thank those people. But now, what about the Hard Rock returning to Las Vegas? Well, this is rumors and news from a long time ago, from as long back as July, August. It's been rumored. There's nothing really happening right now. As you know, the Hard Rock Hotel used to be down on the corner of Paradise Road and Harmon, right by the university, and it was at a time one of the hottest, kind of coolest places to go in Las Vegas. Big poker stars came out there and gambled. Ben Affleck got kicked out of the Hard Rock for counting cards, I think it was, when he was playing blackjack. A lot of history happened at the Hard Rock. I did a video on the channel saying goodbye to the Hard Rock. I just found the footage. I'm going to try to re-edit it and do a better job than what I did before, just for fun. And I'll post that up first on my Patreon, of course, so people have early access. But it'll be on YouTube, and you guys could see another look at the Hard Rock based on the fact that I hopefully got better at editing video. And when it was opened, towards the end of its lifespan, from what I read, it wasn't actually owned by the Hard Rock. The Hard Rock brand is owned by the Seminole tribe down in Florida. You know, if you ever heard of the Seminoles, the NCAA teams, that's the tribe that they named that team after. They own the Hard Rock brand. And lately, the Hard Rock brand, before all of this, was going gangbusters, opening new properties, hotels, resorts, and even casinos in other areas, up in Vancouver, British Columbia, down in Florida. They were opening, but all of a sudden, they're pulling back out of the Vegas market. Well, they decided that they just didn't want to lend their name to the Vegas brand anymore. They sold, the owners of that property sold out to Richard Branson, who's building the Virgin Casino in Las Vegas. I still think the Virgin Las Vegas sounds like a drink, and you should copyright and trademark that. It sounds like a great drink in Las Vegas, the Virgin Las Vegas. But now there's rumors that they're going to be coming back to Las Vegas. There's rumors that they're going to be back here on the Strip, possibly. And even back last summer, all signs pointed to it being at the Hard Rock. The Hard Rock would be replacing the Planet Hollywood. This would make a lot of sense for a lot of different reasons. The Hard Rock Casino was all the way down on Harmon. It was about a 20-minute walk from the Planet Hollywood. And right now, the only Hard Rock that stays in Las Vegas in terms of restaurant dining is over at the Showcase Mall. That's very close to the Planet Hollywood. That's the first thing. The second thing is the Planet Hollywood's already kind of themed around Hollywood and music and entertainment. The third thing is Caesars Entertainment might be looking to dump more properties as they move forward to try to get some kind of positive cash flow going for them until the possible El Dorado deal either falls apart entirely or is completed. So El Dorado doesn't want to pay as much as what they were going to pay for that deal. Caesars wants to get some money to get them to be liquid through the hard times right now that they're going to be facing for the next several months. So we could see that happen where the Planet Hollywood is a casino that Caesars owns, and they sell it to the Seminoles, and now we have the Seminole people that own the Hard Rock, and now we have an actual Hard Rock hotel on the Strip in Las Vegas. And that would be awesome. That would provide many, many jobs for people here as they have to renovate and convert the resort over to the Hard Rock brand. That would give the Planet Hollywood in some cases, much needed refresh to the rooms. That would give a new breath of life into the center part of the Strip, and it would give new possibilities for market sectors to bring people into Las Vegas who might not go to a Planet Hollywood, but they might love the music. It also so happens that I love music. I love rock and roll. Put another dime in the jukebox, baby, to quote, a song. But I do love music, and I would love to be able to browse that casino and look at all of that memorabilia, just like what they had at the old Hard Rock, like I covered in that video. So that's the rumor mill for the Planet Hollywood possibly becoming the Hard Rock. I've also heard Harrah's could be a possibility for that too, but we'll wait and see if that happens, because right now it's just rumors. It's been rumors for a long time. The rumors are getting hotter, so I'm talking about it on the channel right now. And that's the video today. I appreciate you guys watching, sharing, liking, subscribing to the channel. If you want to do the Patreon, you can do that. If you guys want to be on the Facebook group, you can do that. I do the live streams at 7:45. I take great joy in making these videos for you. It's not always positive news, but it's always news, and people seem to want to have it. And sometimes you can't just make up positive things. You have to actually report on what's going on with you. So like, share, subscribe to the channel, hit the bell for future notifications. Leave us a comment below what you think of all this, and we'll talk to you guys in another one. Thanks a lot, guys. Bye-bye.
Thank you.